Montgomery Boyce tells the story of a small town atheist in the Bible Belt of America. He was pretty lonely, but he used to watch the Christians going up and down to church every Sunday morning whilst he sat at the entrance of his shop. One evening, the church building went on fire, and much to the surprise of many of the Christians, George was one of the first to offer a hand. He was up there at the front, bailing on the waters onto the church. One of the Christians kind of sarcastically remarked, "I wasn't expecting you to turn up for church today," to which he replied, "Well, I've never seen the church on fire before." That's the story of Sardis, where we're standing this afternoon in northern Turkey. The church at Sardis is challenged in Revelation chapter 3 as a place which ought to be alive but is dead. "For thou hast a name that thou livest and art dead." And round about the remains of this ancient city, there are marks of fire and flame, disaster and destruction, with a series of earthquakes and conquests, some of them dating back to the 5th century. It's sad, isn't it, if it takes catastrophe and disaster in our life for that spark to be kindled. Sardis lacked the reality of that kindled flame of fire from the Spirit of God. They were happy with the externals, with form. Sure, they turned up for church on a Sunday morning. Sure, they had a Bible on their shelf somewhere. And sure, they could claim to be baptized. But the reality of the impact of their lives on others, the reality of worship to God, and the reality of changed lives was absent. They lacked a passion for the Word. They lacked an interest in the things of God. They lacked a heart full of worship. They lacked the reality of an outpouring evangelism. There was that absence of the real life of Christ in them. And the challenge for you and I is to be on fire for God.